SimRacing, Scuderia Ferrari Edition, the heart of the race.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's World Challenge coverage of the Formula Sim Racing. It is looking so good here as we have the best of the best bringing straight to your beautiful eyeballs there on YouTube. I'm Corey Dyer in the commentary booths alongside Lewis McGlade. Lewis, straight up, first thing of course, how are you doing this evening, dude?
Yeah, I'm good, excited for some very, very good racing. Of course, we're on French soil. It's time for our French Grand Prix at the Circuit Paul Ricard and Le Castellet. It's a great circuit for racing, particularly in these cars. We're going to see, hopefully, some very, very good overtakes. A hard one to nail, 5.842 kilometres long, 15 tricky turns. And yeah, we're going to see a lot of tyre wear this evening, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, it is a long track, but a lot of straights, even though we do have that turn 8, which it really hammers those tyres just with the high pace, of course, using a lot of them there. And as we've suspected, we saw earlier today in the pro race that the one pit stop is possible, isn't it, Lewis? But we're definitely expecting most of these drivers to pull off the 2.
Yeah, I think a 2-stop is more likely here just because of the wear. Yes, you can control your tyres, you can do all the setup work and the like, and the driver to make sure that your tyres will last as long as possible. However, a 2-stop, we're talking a 53-lap race here. It's a long old race. The super softs don't last very long. The softs last all right, and the mediums are not just they're not ideal. So we're probably looking at a 2-stop here, but I'm sure there'll be one driver who'll give it a go and make something work out of it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Of course, that eluding Jerne Simonchich, who is able to pull off in China. Can he do it here in France? Different continent, different rules, different length, of course, everything like that. Let's have a little talk about the car, though, as we're talking about the tyres. The 2019 car, 933 brake horsepower, is an absolute beast of an engine in there. Can reach top speeds of 370 kph, only weighs 740 kilograms, so it is a light vehicle. Of course, 2 fuel mixtures that are available to these drivers, a lean mix and then of course the rich mix. They're going to be having to focus on fuel usage, of course, because you cannot refuel. And then you've got the 2 boost modes there, the race boost mode and the quali. The quali, Lewis, I'm pretty sure you might have seen a couple of drivers have problems with this earlier on in the series, but of course that quali mode can only run for a good 20 to 30 seconds across the race. Otherwise you're just going to get a big bang and that engine is gone.
Yeah, you got to be super, super careful. Don't play with stuff you don't need. Is always the way it's kind of been. You don't want to increase engine temperature or use even more fuel. Everything is so finely calculated in series like this, and you've got to be super, super careful with the car. You speak about obviously a Formula 1 style car, light, a lot of downforce, a lot of setup that you can go through, and so you wouldn't want to put all that work in and have it go up in a ball of smoke.
Well, one thing that has not gone up in a ball of smoke is Yerny Simcic's chances for a perfect season. It has been absolutely brilliant so far. Having a look back to last time in Canada, coming out with the gold first, make it 4 for 4 for podiums there. Running up second was Martin Gosby from the sister ACR Blue team, alongside in third Robin Panzer from the other spot in the ACR Blue team. ACR this season, absolutely stellar. So let's bring that to the whole Drivers' Championship as well here, Lewis. Yerny Simcic up in first, a whopping 37 points ahead of Peter Bergerac. Sorry about my voice there. And then, of course, following behind, 13 points behind, is Michael D'Alessandro. It's been an absolute crazy season so far. Martin Gosby and Robin Panzer pulling up second, of course, the ACR Blue team behind the main ACR team. But it's just down to that consistent point zone, which has to be super commendable for those guys, Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Yerny Simcic, over the past 3 years, finished runner-up 3 years in a row. Is this the year for Simcic? You know, he's shown incredible speed, consistency, race strategy, mindset. He's got all the experience behind him. In fact, earlier today, won a championship earlier this very, very day with ACR. So they're coming into this with a lot of confidence. 100 points to his name. Excellent run of the championship so far. ACR looking pretty strong to maybe make it 5 from 5.
Yeah, so let's quickly pop into the game, of course, as we do have these guys out on track. They are currently 8 minutes into qualifying. And the way qualifying works for guys at home is that you get 4 shots. Basically, you get 3 runs of the track, your out lap, your flying hot lap, and then your in lap. So these guys, of course, can get 20 minutes and have to put out 12 total laps, in that meaning 4 runs. At the top of the board, however, is the golden boy himself, Yerny Simcic, who looks to be currently on a lap. I'm going to quickly throw on over to RaceView, which, guys, if you want to get a current, times and that, a little bit more info, if you're a bit of a nerd like me, head on over to raceview.nl, find the Formula SimRacing 1 page, and you'll be able to bring it all up on here, as well as like all the history of previous times, best laps, and all that jazz going on. What's up, Lewis?
Speaking of that in game, Janis Braxok sets a 26.5. Using RaceView, we can find that out. Went purple in the middle sector, a decent first sector, but not perfect. But yes, that's a 26.5, a tenth and a half clear of Yerny Simcic. A fun fact about the French Grand Prix, Sandor Callas sets a purple first sector, we'll go to that in a moment, is last year, Michele D'Alessandro, pole position and victorious here, pole position by 0.03 of a second. Was victorious here, went on to win the World Championship. The year before, no, we didn't come to Paul Ricard, we did go to Manicourt, we did get a race on French soil. Who won the French Grand Prix? Patel. What did Patel do? Won the World Championship.
So, by chance, you inkling this is the prophecy-making race here, Lewis?
Potentially.
Well, I have been looking at the warm-ups, and Janis Braxok has seemed to be the fastest driver out on the track here at the Paul Ricard. Now, we're not saying it isn't a time which any of these drivers can close in, of course, especially since Yerny Simcic has just set the new best, only 2 1,000ths quicker from Sandor Callas, who is currently into the last sector and just pulls out 4th. Unfortunately, his 3rd sector not amazing. He definitely needs to clean up there, and with the 2nd sector as well. But definitely that 1st sector he's got nailed down to a T.
I've seen a couple of teams using the slipstream to their advantage. Of course, the slipstream fairly potent in these cars. They all have DRS, but we've spoken before about how the slipstream affects the car greatly as well. So teams will be using that to their effect. Obviously, most teams will have 2 cars, and using that, you can potentially get yourself further up the grid with a bit of smart strategy with your teammate. Although in Formula 1, for Ferrari, that has always gone really, really badly at Monza. So for some teams it might work. For other teams, you kind of just want to keep focused and get on with your lap by yourself. So Simcic, wow, there we go. instantly responds 6,000ths of a second ahead. Tiny margin there.
Tiny margin indeed. Janis Bradshaw still in the pits. Still a chance for... I'm trying to tally up in my head looking at these times. 2 more runs are still in it if drivers pace themselves right. Definitely a thinking game right now, because we just seen Peter Berjak actually set the fastest final sector. We've got David Mrozek just coming in with the fastest first sector. So everyone definitely has pace. It's just consistency across the 3 different sectors, because bringing it back to the track, this is one that has got little bits of everything, doesn't it? Of course, the first sector is a very, very fast one, then ends off in 3 and 4, turns 3 and 4 with that sort of very weirdly paced loopiness, I want to say of it. It makes no sense when I talk about it, but you know, sector 2 you got to heavily break through and then carry a good momentum swing into 3, which is another big breaker, and then round to 4 you want to pick up a bit of speed to get that perfect exit onto the straight of 5, essentially, don't you? Where you've got to manage the momentum of the car brilliantly to succeed here in France.
Yeah, you certainly do. Pibalak is a quick driver. Obviously, won the World Championship back in 2015, so he is one of our world champions on the grid. Finished last season with great momentum, won 4 of the final 6 races. Last year, for reference for him, he finished 4th here. So is an all-right circuit for him, but not a brilliant one. And he also has a different teammate for this round in Tom Oldenmenger, who's taken over that car from Daniel Kish as well. So maybe something's not quite working out for Andreas's team there.
But yeah, looking at that, Tom's a good driver. I haven't seen him at this top level quite often. And of course, we don't know how they then go setup, because setup is so important around there. Of course, the 2 drivers will be working on that together in their practice time, trying to build up the best time they possibly can. And I've just seen Jerne Simčić give on a bit of a slipstream over the Robin Panzer. Of course, sister teams, so they will be doing that. And Panzer at the moment sitting back 3 tenths. 3.2 tenths is essentially the difference between 1st and 7th. Times are so close here in France.
Yeah, it is one of those circuits where you're likely to see quite close times. It's kind of one that you'll see everything kind of spread out a little bit in the race, but people will form little packs as they do through the way the slipstream and stuff will work. So you'll see battle packs rather than one big train, I think. But Simčić lining up to do what I believe will be his second to last stint. 5 minutes 45 seconds to go, so there's plenty of time. Obviously only a 1 minute 26 second lap. Oh no, he's going to escape anyway. He's going to come back into the pit lane. Obviously just wanted to do that to give his teammate
Can we just point this out? Yeah, making Robin Panzer 3rd currently. That slipstream showing just the absolute power it can provide. It's ridiculous.
Very
Racefield is currently crashing me.
Yes, mine also did, just briefly. I think it's back now. We're all right.
It's currently back.
But yeah, Panzer, very, very good lap time. Completed 7 of 12 as Panzer, which means he'll only actually get 1 more run. Because he had a middle lap there. So he'll only get 1 more if he wants to go out. Simčić does have 2. Just about to on his outlap, trying to get himself lined up. Braxock, I believe, is on a lap, improved through the first sector, getting slipstream from his teammate on the run down to the chicane on the back straight. The very, very confusing complex of corners, which no one understands which way you're supposed to be going. Rear end side all over the place. Simčić, by the way, purple in the second sector, I believe, and Braxock just made a bit of a mistake there on the exit of the chicane.
Yeah, and you can see Callas there as well on the outside, just not going to get in the way, of course. Great bit of driving there, because he doesn't want to get stuck and, you know, really muck up some people's laps. Who's just mucked up his lap, though? Ratshock, like you said, definitely confirmed he's off. He's still got a chance to put another lap down, but he's going to have to leave. He's actually got a fair amount of time to just tweak a little bit of sense, because, of course, Parc Fermé is in force here. You can't change a massive amount, but it's just small little things like angles on the front wing is all you can really change, ain't it, here? So he might be doing that. I don't know if it's just an adjustment of the fuel where he thinks he can get that little bit light, because we know how much weight does affect these cars. To the point of, we're looking at the times here, if he can just save a couple of 100ths, that could be all he needs. Like, a single 100 would put Bradshaw in the lead. It's ridiculous.
Ricardo Costa moves up with a purple final sector, up into third position. An excellent drive from the Portuguese driver there, up into third. Geoffrey Fournier, his teammate, sets a decent first sector on his lap, but he did it. I think Raceview's gone a bit wild again. But he'll be coming round. He's in ninth position at the moment. Is his teammate, so Ricardo Costa up in third. Geoffrey Fournier down in ninth position. So things are all right for them.
Yeah, I'm currently have got my eye on
Callas.
Yeah, I'm having my eye on Callas right now. The thing is, he didn't have a slipstream on that back straight, and yet he's still got a very commendable second sector of 29.230. However, because of that lack of slipstream, he's about 3 tenths down on Jone Simoncic in that second sector.
Huge
That
margin.
is massive.
I was going to bring that up as well, yeah, because if you look at the Sander Callas, who's done 320, so he just improved to 5th position, carrying a lot more downforce, as we've just been told as well. He's 10 kilometers an hour slower in a straight line than anyone else.
So where he's making that speed up is through the turns, the back sector, of course, and the first sector. Now, how are we thinking this is going to translate into the race? Because, of course, on the straights, like you said, the slipstream power, he's going to find it hard to defend. But when it comes around to those turns, we're thinking he could just slip up the inside or even do an outside run there.
Well, I think there is one thing and one place that it will help more so in the race when it comes to strategic benefit. Because obviously you're running more downforce, which means when you're running through a corner, you're actually scrubbing the tyres less in rFactor 2. Which will give you a longer yield on tyres. I watched Panzer, who's set a decent middle sector. He set a decent first sector as well. They're not improvements, but if he nails that final sector, it could be a slight yield. The top of the standings all very, very, very tight. So any improvement would be great. He did get the slipstream from Jone Simoncic, which I think he may return in kind back to our championship leader, who's presently on pole position. He does improve, but doesn't improve his position very quickly. I'll go down the top 5, because why not? Simoncic currently on pole, Braxock in second, Costa in third, Panzer fourth, and Callas rounding out that top 5. Also D'Alessandro, who pole 12 months ago, currently sitting outside that top 5 in 6th position. Potential improvements there. Super close, though, in that top 7. 2 tenths separates them.
Absolutely ridiculous. Of course, that is France. You've got Sander Callas currently behind what is a little bit of a train. Can see we've got Sandro there. We've got, I want to say we've got Birikov currently going on his hot lap as well, so keep eyes on him, as he had absolutely ragged that through turn 1.
Birikov, one of our pole sitters this season. We've had 3 different pole sitters. Michele D'Alessandro had pole position in China. Birikov had pole position at Azerbaijan. And then, massive moment there. And Jone Simoncic has had 2 pole positions, as far as I can remember. Last time out, I believe.
China.
Yeah. I think it was Australia and Canada. I can't remember.
Canada, that's it, not China. Yep.
The other country that begins with C.
You'll learn as we go on, Lewis. Names bewilder me.
Wow, look at that first sector from Sander Callas. That is insanely fast.
Problem is, though, he's got no slipstream that straight as well. He's got no teammates helping him out there. You can
and he's got traffic.
Yeah.
Big
problems
traffic
building up.
Oh no, for Sander Callas, massive traffic there from our current world champion, Michele D'Alessandro. Going through that chicane just really caught him off guard, and that has cost him all the time through there, and he's finished his lap there and then. Terrible shame, because that first sector from Sander Callas was absolutely on fire.
So I can see Lucas Jack is currently on his hot lap, and this has to be good. When you've got Bradshaw, your teammate, up in second, you're currently sitting on 11th. You're going to be wanting to improve it. He's got 2 greens. Can he make this a green overall for him? Yes, but it's only as good as P8. We're saying only as good. That's 2 tenths behind Yone Simčić up in first. That is how close it is here. I think the only driver, I was about to say the only driver who's still got out on track was Peter Burdak, and he's currently sitting off for a bit of tea on the side.
Yeah, Burlak did improve on that time, went from about 9th position, I think it was, up to 5th, so a decent improvement there, a 10th separating your top 5. Geoffrey Fournier, our Frenchman on the grid, outside of the top 10 at his home Grand Prix.
We've seen Geoffrey, though. He is not a qualifier, he's a racer. And so I definitely expect him to be able to make up a few spots during this race. Qualifying has sometimes eluded him, but here, I think the race will favour him. We should be seeing him sneaking into the points.
Yeah, me and old Jeff have had an interesting career in sim racing. We've raced a few times on circuit, never in open wheelers, but it's always gone very badly. But in open wheelers, he's really shown the quality that he has. I always used to race him in touring car drivers, in touring car races where, bumping and stuff, and I was never very happy racing with him. But then I saw him do a lot of open wheel racing over the course of the last couple of years, and he's really shown what he can do. And it's his consistency and just the outright speed that he can show over a stint is incredible. So potentially, we'll see him move up from that position. He started out the season with a 5th place in Australia. Has had a couple other points finishes. Didn't score points in China, but has elsewhere. So potentially we'll see him move up the grid here at his home race. Very important for him to do so. So you want to do well at your home race.
Oh yeah, of course you definitely do. Right, guys, we're going to be throwing this on over to a break whilst these guys just get warmed up, get a couple of laps in with their race fuel and such, just to make sure that they're comfortable around here. Whilst they're doing that, Lewis, I think I'm probably going to, just pop off, make myself a coffee and get into race mode for us, because in just over 8 minutes time, we're going to be bringing you all the action here at the Circuit de Paul Ricard, and I cannot wait for it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a little bit.
Hey man, I got that new TMX Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
Yo, let me play.
Yeah, I have to play first. Yeah.
I'll race it for it.
So I have to hand it.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the Formula SimRacing World Championship. We have just been done and dusted with qualifying, and we're going on to the main race. But let's run down that qualifying anyway, because we have Golden Boy himself, Jone Simčić, up on top by not much, Lewis, do we?
No, very, very tight qualifying for a lot of these guys there, and I think that may be sort of like noting what's going to be happening in the race. Of course, it was 6,000ths of a second. The Brags are putting in a brilliant qualifying session to get into second. Ricardo Costa doing a very, very good job in third as well. We'll see how that kind of all unfolds throughout the race. The Turn 1 complex here at the start of the race, Turn 1 and 2 is going to be very, very interesting, as well the slipstream on the run down to that 8-9 chicane on the back straight as well. So I think we're going to see a lot of tasty racing over the first laps as they try and put all 900 horsepower down onto the road.
Yeah, for me here as well, Bradshaw is the one I'm going to be watching out for. 0 points so far in this season, DNFs in both Australia and Azerbaijan, getting caught into a couple of accidents, unfortunately, there. And then 14th and 13th place in China and Canada, respectively. This is a lad that has got so much potential, but gets caught up in little accidents. You know, it's definitely something which will click eventually. But if he has a solid race, I could actually see Bradshaw coming away with a win here today if Simčić is not careful.
Potentially. I mean, shown some incredible speed for Go Speed, the Hungarian driver. Realistically, I think Simčić is going to be really hard to beat. As I said before, he's won a championship even earlier today, has finished runner-up in the series 3 times. Definitely wants to continue this winning form that Simčić has got for ACR. So I would suggest it is very much a David versus Goliath at the moment. But realistically, Bradshaw got nothing more to prove.
He's done great so far, and he'll continue to try and get on to that podium. Starting third will be Ricardo Costa, of course. Fantastic qualifying from him. Robin Panzer in fourth, Peter Berjak in fifth, Sander Kallis in sixth, Michael DeSandre in seventh, David Rojek in eighth, Wojciech Lukaszek in ninth, Kirill Birakov in 10th, Geoffrey Fournier 11th, Yuri Kastorp in 12th, Danny Vandeny in 13th, Giriano Valerino in 14th, Mohammed Patel 15th, and Pero Peeve in 16th. Then we've got Stephen Michaels, Tom Oldemonger, and Michi Hoyer starting from the back, if I'm correct. It will be Stephen Michaels from the back, and it's looking like Tom Oldemonger and Michi Hoyer are actually going to be starting from the pits, considering they're not out yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that comes down to sign-ups and stuff. I can't remember the actual rule behind it, but they have to both start from the pit lane. Oldemonger obviously joined the Edgy Sports team quite late. But yeah, what is going to happen at the front? It's going to be very interesting. I think Sander Kallis as well. Watch out for him in sixth position. We know he's running a lot higher downforce than everyone else. Is that going to affect him a lot in the early stages of the race? Is he going to go longer than everyone else in this race? We're not 100% sure as to how that tyre strategy is going to work. But realistically, with the high downforce, you're going to want to get into some pretty clean air ASAP. Maybe even with an early stop. If you were already set for a 2 or 3 stop strategy, maybe some of these would want to come in a bit early. Who knows?
Yeah, just quickly, I'm having a look at the tyre situation currently going on. It is super softs right on through in the top 10, and then after that, of course, you've got the medium tyre. So everyone at the back is trying, I would imagine, they're going to be having a look at seeing if the one stop on a medium and then a soft tyre is possible. But looking at stuff earlier on today, you know, at the 80% races, I don't think it is. I reckon you're looking at 2-3 here, Lewis.
Yeah, I say you can do a one stop. It is mathematically possible. Whether it's logical, though, is the other thing. I mean, we'll have to keep our eye on how these drivers will conserve their tyres and whether they'll just start pushing. We'll know just by how they're driving the car and how they're throwing it about. Simčić being very, very careful not to take any extra percentage out of his tyres on this this formation. That being very, very careful. No real warming from him. Braxock behind as well. Almost like they're coming around to a rolling start here. The way they're all kind of like lining up. You've got to be careful of your rear tyres though, getting them in the right temperature window. Otherwise, your start is going to be horrific.
Yeah, of course, you're just going to absolutely be spin them. You could see this slowdown from Simčić wanting to bring everyone in. He doesn't want to be sitting there for absolutely ages because, of course, that will cool his tyres down and hurt them a lot more. So bringing people in is fantastic for him. Everyone getting onto the line. Tension is massively high considering the times there. Simčić not getting the fastest. Like, if we look at Callas and his qualifying times, we could see him jump from 6th, maybe up to even 4th, just in the first sector, if he can pull that magic off again. But without further ado, we need to start getting onto this as all the drivers are lining up. We've got the last man on there, so waiting for those lights to start ringing on in. Quite hard to actually get a position for them, but there they go. Waiting for them to quickly pop out, and there we have it. We're getting started here at the Paul Ricard. A brilliant takeaway, I think I just saw there from Michael DeSandro. Simčić keeping up front, going to be holding on that line. Look at that.
Oh,
on the
contact!
massive attack. Ricardo Costa getting caught up with him there. Super unfortunate, but thank God for those runaways essentially on the side. Saw Patel get a little bit of a knock as well. It said it. Callas getting up in the 4th, and there he is. He's under attack from Birkov. Right behind, beside him now on the inside. Birkov not going to have the pace though to continue this out. We'll have to succumb to that for now. Sander Callas is in 4th. Due to those events though, Simčić has just got such an outstanding lead. Look at Robin Panzer as well behind him in 2nd. Those lads are absolutely running away with it. Near enough 3 wide coming in up to turn 6. A little bit of a touch there on the back from Brakshock onto Callas's car. Per Verjak under attack from Ricardo Costa to his side. Geoffrey Fournier up into the points. We said it was possible. He's kept it nice and clean and has been rewarded with 9th place. And Yuri Kastor up into 10th.
Oh, but Brakshock going to be down the inside of Sandar Callas as we head through turn 11. I think he's going to have that move done. Yes, he is. So Sandar Callas, who didn't have the greatest start, but through all the contact and stuff at turn 1, managed to get himself back into a decent position. There was contact at the first corner between, I believe it was Brakshock and Ricardo Costa. That's why Costa's so far down after a brilliant qualifying. Who's that who spun it? It's Lukaszek who's just spun at the final corner, speaking of. That was his teammate.
Kastorp's into
the pit lane for an early stop. But yeah, contact at turn 1. I'm sure there'll be an investigation into that with Costa and Brakshock looking at what's happening. Panzer done a very good job though. It's an ACR 1-2 at the moment. Michele D'Alessandro's translated well and kept his nose clean through the first complex of corners, and the world champion himself up into 3rd position, hunting down the 2 ACRs. Burikov as well from that pole position earlier in the season, now looking pretty decent, handy in 4th position, yet to score points in that car as well.
I'm also having a little look because there is a train forming up from what seems to be Petr Burjak down to, is that Geoffrey Fournier? Yeah. Though they've sort of, you can see the distance in between the cars spread out a little bit. It's quite interesting to notice how everyone is splitting off into little groups, and you can definitely see on that back straight the slipstream advantage and how it does pull them in quite close.
Look at Fournier's tyres as well. He's on the mediums, everyone else on the softs. Car directly behind POP as well on the medium compound tyre. Those that started inside the top 10 all started on that the softer, the red banded tyre. The only one who's dropped outside of the top 10 is Morchek, but still.
Lukaszek, all the way back in P18, is actually running the super soft.
Yeah, he's spun at the final, well, coming into the second last realistically. Fastest lap of the race though goes presently to PO5 Brakshock, moving his way towards this fight at the top. But you'd have to say that Simčić is looking after his tyres a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, from what we've seen in the past, generally if he's having an outstanding race where he would be thinking about just completely putting it away, he would pull away. Robin Panzer are keeping him very close behind. This, to me, could be a little indicator maybe that Simčić is not putting it all down. He's looking after those tyres, and I would expect that to be the case for everyone here, you know, where the one stop is on the cards up until you know it's not possible, because the time save from not pitting is just too much to not count in.
Yeah, well, whilst he's in the lead, he might as well try and go for it. I see as well Burkov massively over the back end and Michele D'Alessandro going through the 8-9 chicane as we head through the really, really fast complex of corners. Not too far off the gearbox of D'Alessandro. Keeping him very close for company, isn't he?
Yeah, that's got to be a little bit uncomfortable, I'd imagine there. Some of these guys just wanted a little bit of distance, but you just cannot shrug off the lap behind you. Birkov, of course, having a massive run today, it seems.
Yeah, Invictus Motorsports will be happy with that one. D'Alessandro, though, showing why he's a world champion and not sort of bowing down to any of the pressure that's being thrown at him. And still just trying to keep Panzer and Simčić in sight. Don't want to drop that back. Of course, D'Alessandro, I said before, did win this race 12 months ago. He did win it from pole position, but he won it by 10 seconds. So it was a fairly convincing win on his part. And not one that came about by luck for the world champion. Doing everything right out of the complex of 7 and 8, just coming onto the back straight. But he's going to be under attack now into 8 and 9. And I think this is going to be Burkov straight through with DRS.
Yep, not
Easy
a problem for him. And Alessandro allowed that. You can clearly see because he knows he's got to keep within the DRS range. And so he's just quite happy to allow that on over and know that as long as they sort of slipstream off each other, Simčić isn't going to be riding off into the sunset. He is still within an obtainable race. And the distance that they are within each other now, it's only 2 seconds. That is pit stop reclaimable, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, D'Alessandro hasn't won a world championship in FSR by not knowing how to race. You know, he knows what he's doing. He's got his game plan. And so far, 4th position, not that far off for the lead. Everything's kind of closing off. To be fair, if I was D'Alessandro, I'd want Burkov there because he's then going to attack the ACRs.
Yep.
And that's what you want. You want someone feisty all over the back of them, forcing them to defend, forcing them to get offline to wear their tyres out more. You don't do that. You just sit there, you calmly, relaxed, just take on the race circuit one lap at a time, looking after your tyres, setting decent times, maybe going a couple of laps further. Who knows?
I'm having a look as well. First, all the way down to 9th is a DRS train. They're all within range of each other. It's unfortunate that David Mrozek 2 seconds behind Geoffrey Fournier. Can't get that DRS, and luckily, he's got a little bit of a distance to Podium, but essentially that means that front 9 is a train, and everyone else is going to be seeing them just go off into the distance. Looking at Mohamed Patel, though, he is closing in on Podium, both on the medium tyres, so we'll see what they can do. Oh, those curbs through the chicane of 8 and 9. A little bit bumpier, a little bit more bumpier than what you would expect. Keep an eye on Patel, though. He's looking to get the overtake on the outside. Heavy defending coming in from Podium. Look at the speed that Patel can carry through, and that is his, unless Heave can pull something off on the inside here in turn 11. Don't think it's happening. Nope, he'll have to concede P11.
But going around the outside there is huge, huge wear on the front left, of course. Mohamed Patel showing that potentially it's worth it for him at the moment just to get by and try and hunt down Morček. I'd say that David Morček will probably close up to the back of this train. You said there was a 2-second gap, but potentially I reckon he will close up to this lot as they are all pretty close. They'll all be affecting each other on lap time a little bit, potentially a little bit of conservation going in there. He's on the softer compound tyre, can close up to the back of Geoffrey Fournier, who's doing a brilliant, brilliant job. Not on the lap that we've just completed, but the lap before, by the way. Kirill Burkov did set the fastest lap of the race of 32.068. To show how the ACRs are controlling this race, both Simčić and Panzer have set the exact same fastest lap, a 32.642 for the pair of them, obviously controlling things at the front.
Yep, some may say ACR stands for Avid Chronic Racing. I say Avid Control Racing. I'm sure you agree on that one, Lewis, as these two lads are just conducting this train of cars, each carriage in their particular pace. But look at that from Birkov. Of course, on the inside, he's got the pace to do it as well. We have to keep a hold because, of course, Panzer will now have the inside line going into 12. Looks to be able to hold on to it, but Birkov tried his darndest. Again, those tyres are going to be starting wearing out if he keeps putting it. It is the soft. He's making the most out of his first stint, and he knows that's when he's got to attack.
Attacking like that, though, will only allow Simoncic to pull away. Although Birkov does look like he's pushing a little bit harder on the tyres. 1.1
Panzer
seconds.
Doesn't have DRS.
Yeah, he's going to be out of the DRS range. Michele D'Alessandro not too far behind, ready to attack if Birkov and Panzer make a mistake, come through that first complex of corners. But I would suggest that Birkov is going to potentially be making a move, although I see Simoncic dropping back to this, and I think that is intentional. I think that is Simoncic dropping back to make sure his teammate has DRS.
Yeah, it is exactly that. And you saw Birkov actually held off on the overtake chance there. He broke early. Yeah, Panzer's got DRS. The ACR lads, I don't know what is going on with the engineers, giving these orders, but they're having to think out. They've got calculators, notepads, everything at the go here to work out these times. And of course, if you guys want a little bit of that info as well, RaceForYou, head on over raceforoyou.nl and get all the times, all the tyre information, the gaps between them, a little bit more info than what is just on the tower to your left, if you're that way inclined.
Yeah, obviously, I think for sure Simoncic backed up in that first sector because his first sector was 5/10 slower than Panzer, so I think he definitely backed off to give his teammates some DRS. Of course, Mike Pittman, I'm pretty sure, will be sat on the pit wall balancing a lot of his ACR drivers. Of course, that team run as well by Michi Hoyer, but Michi unfortunately can't really do much race engineering as he's in 16th place in this race.
That's what you just said, yeah, teammate. They're not technically teammates, they're sister teammates. Robin Panzer is on the ACR Blue. Yoni Simoncic's teammate, Michi Hoyer, is all the way back in 16th. Now, Michi, we've seen him pull off some amazing stuff, but to get to 16th, to the points, is going to be one hell of a drive today.
Well, we'll have to see. He did score points here. He qualified third here in the previous year, did Michi Hoyer, and ended the race in 5th position, so a decent drive realistically. But yes, you're absolutely right to come up that order. They are sister teams, however, even if that wasn't his sister teammate, I would almost assume that Simoncic may have done the same thing anyway, because Panzer at the moment isn't attacking Simoncic, so Simoncic is quite happy with that. However, he knows that if Birkov gets by, Birkov will attack him. So keeping that car in between, that is very, very handy. So
I'm having a look as well. There's only one ACR Blue car today.
The other one is missing.
Martin Godsby is missing, unfortunately, today. So Simoncic, looking at this, knows he's not under threat. Like, the main team isn't under threat for the championship, like, points. As long as Simoncic comes out first, he's going to be happy to help Panzer through. It's the strategic play here is actually really quite cool to watch.
It is very, very interesting. We're hearing something about Morchek and the second ACR car. I'm not quite sure. We'll get clarification on that. But he has, speaking of him anyway, because why not? He has closed up to this pack, and Birkov has come into the pit lane after only 7 laps or 8 laps completed of the French Grand Prix. Goes onto the medium compound of time, will fly out of the pit lane. Birkov, our first of the top lot to pit. Now, is this going to force everyone else into the pit lane as well? Or are they going to stick to their guns, stick to their strategy, stick to what they know? How's that game plan going to work out?
So yeah, we have got confirmation. David Morchek is the second ACR car. However, he's just in the default FSR livery. That's what confused us there, Lewis.
I see. So it is.
I mean, it's a nice livery.
I thought it was in a ghost league, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Having a little look again. Everyone taking a lot of liberty with the runoff area through the chicane. Of course, going on the wide side, so not getting any time there. That's absolutely fine. But just hoping to reduce tyre wear. That is the aim of the game here today. It's just making sure that when it really matters, probably in the last stint, you're going to be able to pull out times that are absolutely ridiculous because, well, we've already seen Birkov go into the pits on those medium tyres, so he is dedicated to the two-stopper. Like, there's no ifs and buts about it. He's got to go for that. Of course, these guys do have to run 2 different compounds as well, so if you're going to do the one stop, it's on the medium and soft, isn't it?
Yeah, Ricardo Costa reacts and comes into the pit lane. But yeah, they do have to make that stop. They do have to change the compound of tyre. I will say, Simicic and that ACR car, both of those two, Simicic and Panzer, are responding to that pit stop, but not with a pit stop. They're responding with pace. As Simicic has just set his personal best middle sector in a decent lap. Only a couple of tenths off of his personal best anyway, so reacting in speed rather than with a pit stop. Geoffrey Fournier sets his personal best first sector now as well, down in 7th position. Of course, he's on the medium tyres, so going to be going a bit longer anyway. But I'd suggest with Simicic, if they're going to start pushing now, is that just going to wear out their tyres a little bit too much? Is that going to force them back onto a 2-stop strategy, or are they going for a 1-stop? We'll have to find out.
That's them knowing that they're going for the 2-stop. They're just responding to those around. I'd expect a similar case where Sandro is going to be trying to close this gap. He is currently out of DRS range, unfortunately. But if he can somehow close out 3 tenths, which looks near enough damning, considering that Panzer also has the slipstream behind Simicic, and they are managing this very well, that's going to be great. Callas, of course, outside of DRS range on De Sandro, but Berjak right behind is closing in on Callas, so I could see if there is going to be a response here. There it is, De Sandro and Callas both into the pits to make sure that they don't lose anything.
Yeah, well, I say they're trying to get ahead of the program here as well. Was for the final points paying position at the moment, but POP close to becoming under quite a lot of pressure. Danny Van Der Neet, of course, Van Der Neet.
Eyes on
missing
Birkov
from
right
the
now
previous
because, of course,
lap.
he's coming down the straight. Sandro and Callas in the pits.
Yeah.
And they are behind Birkov, who could have just pulled out an insane strategy. Yeah, Sandro and Callas behind Kastorf, of course, who got that early pit stop in. So he's going to have to go for 2 longer stops anyway. He got caught up and, of course, damaged his tyres, so had to pit. I think he might have even damaged his front wing a little bit.
Oh, sorry, back towards the front. P3, Fournier and Burlak going side by side through the 8-9 chicane. Fournier going for a bit of a cutback. These two have raced quite a bit before, not too much on this circuit though, as the Frenchman looking to try and get himself up into an early podium position, not going to quite make it work around the outside there. Decides to pull it back in, obviously going for a bit more of the longer game, looking down the inside. Nothing happening from the Frenchman on the Croatian.
Look at that
Obviously,
early
different
braking
tyres,
as well
yeah.
from Fournier. Like, he is making sure he does not get in an accident here. He's not risking it. He knows that he's playing the long con on this one. I'm really impressed by that because essentially, because Berjak was defending quite heavily there, and he's just going to sit back, go, you're going to defend like that, I'm just going to brake, allow you to run off, and he still gets that little bit of DRS, which is quite nice, of course, on the pit straight. But Geoffrey Fournier up into 2nd place. We know it's provisional because he's still got a pit, but he's on a complete flip strategy to everyone else here.
Yeah, started in 11th position, currently running in 2nd, yet to pit. Burlak and Panzar into the pit lane. So Edge and ACR Blue both responding to that. Birkov obviously going to jump the pair of them. Yuri Kasdorp as well going to jump the pair of them. D'Alessandro Callas ahead of Burlak, as is Ricardo Costa, who had an unfortunate start to the race with contact at the first corner with Braxock as well, who's still continuing to circulate in 3rd position. Not the best start from him from the front row, but doing a decent job at the moment, aiming to score his first points of the season, coming under attack from the 2nd, in air quotes, ACR Blue. It doesn't look like one, but it is an ACR Blue of Morchek. But Simicic is a 5.4 second lead now. Will he be in the end of this lap? I would assume so.
Yeah, and looking at last lap time, Simicic pretty much half a second down on Birkov, who is really hammering away at these medium tyres. So Birkov considering he started on the softs, he could go soft, medium, medium, and definitely safely run out this race, you know? Soft, medium, sorry, super soft, medium, soft is very much a possibility, and there's Jerne Simčić into the pits. But it is questions here on those tyres, because if I'm looking at him there, I don't know how that's all going to end out, because those tyres have got to be absolutely screaming if he can put those pace down on the mediums.
Yeah, but then with the way the fuel's burning off, it's not too much of a surprise that he is setting those times. It's just whether he comes out ahead. Burkov coming down to the end of the pit lane, and he's going to jump Simčić as well. So that is it. The fresh rubber really helping Burkov. Puts him up into what is presently 9th position. However, all of the cars ahead are yet to pit. Presently, our race leader, the Frenchman himself, is Jeffrey Fournier. The cars ahead are all the ones who started on that white striped tyre, all presently ahead.
Simčić, though, is in DRS range.
Importantly so, yeah. So potentially a well-timed pit stop. He'll be opening that DRS and potentially closing down on Burkov, unless he wants to use Burkov as a bit of a target here.
You got to remember, yeah, if Simčić is just going for the sustain, where he just does not want to overuse his tyres, so you got to remember they're cold. He's only just slapped them on. Burkov's been out for a few laps now. He's going to want to just stay behind, heat those tyres up, and then maybe attack a little bit later. This is too early for him to make the dart down the inside, especially on those cold tyres. He could just quite easily spin out or lock them up.
But that's the Marc Marquez strategy, which is the I'm just going to sit in this massive battle pack and just look after my tyres whilst everyone else does their stuff, and then with 5 laps to go I'll be like, bye! And we'll take off into the distance.
Suddenly pull out like a half a second from nowhere. It's a great shot. I love it.
Yeah, it is impressive to see. I've seen it in person, so maybe Simčić aiming a bit more down that route. Of course, his teammate now, who started from the pit lane in 4th position, Michi Hoyer, naturally, obviously, without a pit stop, would be in that position, but potentially going for a very different strategy here as Yuri Kazdorp gets overtaken by Michele D'Alessandro for 12th position. Of course, Yuri also under attack from Sandor Kalas, who's now going to be overtaken. Not quite, but Yuri on some very, very worn tyres at the moment. He's been on those since the end of lap 1. So potentially not the best strategy for him, but it's one he's been forced onto. You know, you make your bed, you lay in it.
You got to remember, they are the medium. We've been told they can last around 30 odd laps. So they're fine. It's just the problem of pace. And with that slipstream, there is Sandor Kalas behind. Quick little note as well, Robin Panzer closing in on Simčić and Burkov right now. He's putting a lot of rubber down to be able to do that. If you look, he's getting in about a 10th on Burkov.
How would that happen? We had a crash with Danny Van Der Neat.
And Per Pieve, off. Yeah, that is a massive problem.
And
Burkov
Kazdorp's
getting
out.
caught up in there. And yeah, Yuri Kazdorp is out. Per Pieve now between Simčić and Burkov. Simčić trying to make it down on the outside. Per Pieve is not going to hand this one over too easily. He moves over to the side, but making sure to keep that momentum. Unfortunately, that was a very, very bad exit from P15. Into the pits he goes. He must have a bit of damage on that car.
I think, to be honest, I'm going to give that one to Van Der Neat, that he was pinched on the inside there. Apparently we're going to get a replay on stream, but as far as I saw, Per Pieve on the outside just holds Van Der Neat over the curb. It wasn't illegal from Pieve, like there was realistically enough space. But realistically, with the way the curbs are, it's that front end of Van Der Neat is always going to be pushed out wide at that point. So I'd probably just say racing incident, but that's not for me to decide. As Van Der Neat immediately under the attack in the next flag car as well, trying to go back up into 5th position. Of course, last round was missing thanks to a race ban for Van Der Neat from the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So already getting involved in an instance though at the French Grand Prix on his return.
We don't like those kind of reoccurring themes. Fortunately, we're talking about Geoffrey Fournier, home race, and for a little bit of time he's going to be sitting at the front of the pack. That's a feel-good moment for you, you know?
yeah, even if it's not 100% on strategy, it is always nice just to at least be leading laps. By the way, I did just go and look at with Kasdorp as to his retirement. He just pulled off to one side and then came to a stop.
Probably, I'd imagine some sort of suspension damage from his incident earlier and just realising he's just wearing it away, not worth it.
I also think it might have been a bit of a technical issue because he started moving his wheel around on the straight, which may have just been like potentially something force feedback related, etc.
Right, so keeping a little bit of an eye as well here as Kirill Birikov is closing in on Tom Oldenmenger, sorry, and Simicic is right behind him. No DRS on him, however, so Birikov being able to pull away a little bit there. I know he's caught into a bit of traffic, but you would expect him here, especially with them fine, to try and dot up the inside. Look at Stephen Michaels out wide. Not going to fight too much as he pulls in behind, but that is a train of cars, and Birikov knows he wants to get past them all.
Yeah, he needs to make some very, very swift progress, unless he's going to be under attack by Simicic. We'll see them come through this corner. Birikov on the previous lap did set the fastest lap that was immediately beaten by Morchak behind. But both setting pretty decent time. Simicic's time, though, wasn't that far behind. But when is Birikov going to make his first move? I think potentially into the final corner if he's going to line it up. Oh, doesn't go for a cheeky dive on the inside there. Wait to see if he's going to come into the pit lane. No, he doesn't. Into the DRS and up towards turn 1. And Birikov will get through nice and easily here at the first corner.
Yep. Of course, Stephen Michaels not going to hand it on over too easily. He knows it's going to happen and just allows it. But he's not giving up his own line, which is smart to do. So Yernate behind now has to get past Stephen Michaels, and it's in a little bit of a trickier place on the inside, using the full width of that track will make it past. The big question though is, does he still have DRS? To me that looks way too far back, and it is Birikov once again driving off further down the track. And he's going to gain temps.
Michaels behind does have DRS. He's not going to go for a move though. Plays it smart. Panzer as well behind. I thought Michaels was going to get back through there on Simicic. That would have really messed up his race. Now Michaels is going to be overtaken by Panzer. Yeah, Panzer going to get through as well. Going to keep in touch with his sister teammate as well. Panzer coming back across there on Michaels. That was it'll wake you up.
Spicy. Yeah,
a bit spicy indeed. Birikov though disappearing away a little bit into the distance. Everyone getting past Michael as well. Michele D'Alessandro through Sandor Callas. Venerex all over the back end as well. Ricardo Costa not too far behind, so all of them going to be lining up to pass.
Cal's got a little bit swirly there.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to be under attack from Costa. Whoa, nearly cut it. Look at Burlak on the inside. They're 3 wide through the second to last corner. Oh my goodness, Ricardo Costa on the inside. Sandor Callas manages to get to keep ahead, and I think Peter Burlak might actually be through on the inside. No, the slipstream really helps Ricardo Costa there. Wow, 3 wide at that point.
What a play. Janis Bratshock under attack from David Rojek as well, who I just saw has set the fastest lap of the race so far. So Rojek, of course, the second ACR car. A little bit deceiving, we know, with the default colours. Currently sitting at 16th, he's going to be wanting to close that in. Provisionally though, like considering we've still got runners to pit, that would put him somewhere in the area of about P8.
Yeah, which would be a solid drive.
Yeah. It's just the guys at the front, of course, the lads that started on the medium tyres, everyone on them right now. Geoffrey Fournier, Patel, we know Hoyer, of course, had that early lap 1 incident, so he pitted then. Seemingly doing okay for him. He is losing a little bit of time though, but he's started digging into these tyres to make sure them put himself on the 3 lap strategy, it seems. The 3 pit stop strategy, sorry. Valeriano not putting down very convincing times. I saw a 133.416. But Danny Vandeny ain't doing much better, 133.190. Behind him though, Birikov, 132.6. He's going to be looking to make it a bit of an attack here, close it right on in. We could see an overtake before the 8-9 chicane from Birkov.
Yeah, Giordano Valeriano into the pit lane for his stop. Also, Peter Burlak put a decent move on Michael's Braxock also through. More check
Sandro past Tom.
Soon.
Oldermonger.
Yeah.
Oldermonger just allowing these cars through. He's not fine at all. It's a very interesting strategy, what with zero defending essentially here today, because those straights you can't defend on. They're just too powerful, which is cool to see. But then I want to say the back markers, like Tom Oldenmonger there, just knowing that this is a long race. We're 18 laps into a total of 53. This is not his battle to fight.
Yeah, Van den Eet did the same thing to Kirill Burikov and Yone Simoncic as they both go through at the same time on the same straight. I guess it's not really your race. You don't really want to get too involved. But Simoncic, by the way, all over the back of Burikov now. Currently for fourth position, although we believe this will become the race lead whenever the top three come into the pit lane. Of course, Fournier, Patel and Hoyer, who are leading the way, yet to stop. Hoyer started from the pit lane. Fournier started from 11th position. I think Mohamed Patel will be into the pit lane. Yes, he is. And Michi Hoyer will continue to go around once more.
Quick note as well, Simoncic up 4/10 in sectors 1 and 2. Sector 3, he's not been able to put down too much damage. So that'll be an interesting one to see how that transpires as soon as he goes over the line. Just to see that sort of closeness of the slipstream. Yeah, I'm quickly looking at that now because it's all getting a little bit confuddled. But he lost those 4/10 essentially in that last sector, where the slipstream, when you're going through the squirrely turns, actually damages you a little bit because you lose a bit of grip, don't you?
Absolutely, and this is important for tyre wear. This is why Simoncic may want to get ahead of Burikov, because the less downforce that you've got when you're going through a corner at speed, particularly with the back end of the circuit where you've got a lot of those high-speed corners, if you're taking the air off the front end, that means that you have to use effectively more steering angle to get through the corner. It's not quite how it works, but in a moderate sense. And so that means that the front left, for example, through a lot of those high-speed corners, is being used a lot heavier. A lot more weight is being put on it to get the car around the corner at the same speed, which then means that you're obviously overheating it, which then means you're wearing it, and the thermal degradation will go through the tyres straight away. So you really want to get by quickly or have really, really good control.
Yeah, and we've seen some of these races, like when I look to Michi Hoyer, for example, where he does like a little bit of a loose setup as such, where he slides it around. So you do see a little bit more tyre wear come out from him. Seeing Geoffrey Fournier going to the pits as well.
Same with
on
Hoyer.
lap 19, Hoyer there as well. For me, this is going to be interesting to see what these two lads are going to be pulling out tyre-wise.
Staying on the mediums, both of them.
On the medium, yep. Hoyer on the medium.
So medium, super soft, I'm going to assume.
If they can manage this, possibilities of this being their final stop. So I'm going to say, we've been told 30. We've known that can sometimes come up a little bit short if drivers really do look after them. But I'd imagine Noah Michi, with his current position, is going to be rag this around and then put on a final set of super softs.
Yeah, I think the same thing for Fournier, who's on those medium tyres. I think he'll close up to the back of Morchek as well. The thing is, with this strategy could work out brilliantly for him. I know you look at Fournier and you think, yes, but he started 11th and he's only up into 10th now, so he's only gained one position out of it. No, he's going long-term in this. He's 8 seconds off the lead. He's under attack massively from Patel, who doesn't quite get through in the 8-9 chicane. He's a leader, but this is going long-term for Fournier, and I think this strategy could really, really work out for the Frenchman.
Yeah, definitely. If he, like I said, can pull off that, like this is his last pit stop, if he can somehow pull that off, then you got to look at all those cars ahead of him. If he can just keep moving an ice shot, he's only 8.6 seconds behind first. He could jump up a few spaces. Of course, by the end of the race, it's not going to be 8.6 seconds. But he could definitely shoot up into 5th, 6th, I could see him.
Well, I say he's got to come in for the super softs anyway. Obviously, doing a double on the mediums at the moment. We'll have to take the super softs at one point. But the thing is, in comparison to all these drivers at the moment, he has the pace and grip advantage. And he's closing in to a big old train of drivers. This could work out brilliantly for him. And if there is one person who can race his way through a pack like this, of course, I said before with his touring car experience, it would be the Frenchman of Geoffrey Fournier who could make that progress.
Just seeing Patel, though, behind him, setting fastest lap of the race. Of course, we're expecting those to start reeling on in, considering the weight of the cars is falling off due to that fuel. But Patel, now within DRS range, is going to be attacking Fournier. I mean, Fournier don't have DRS. He's just, I think it was a single tenth away from Rojek ahead. So keep an eye on Patel. Is he really, that's some heavy braking from him as he turns into the chicane of 8 and 9.
Yeah, powerful brakes these open wheelers have. It is all closing up once again. So if you're thinking of going for a little toilet break at home, I would run now and then come back because we are going to have a lot of action here. We've got 21 laps complete. We're on the 22nd, close to completing that of 53 laps. And things are going to be lighting up here at Paul Ricard. The top 11 after 21, nearly 22 laps completed are separated by 0.8 of a second. And those, I say, the likes of Fournier, Patel, Hoyer, are all on fresher rubber, are all on newer tyres, have all closed up to the back of this train, snaking its way around the Le Castellet circuit. And so things are about to really heat up as Burikov sets a really, really good lap time, by the way. So it's a 31.8, which for him at this point in the race is very tasty indeed.
Yeah, but beating that is Mohamed Patel once again with 31.488. Still keeping with those 8s, but he is closed down to the pack. He's right on the end of this train, going from P4 to P11. 4 seconds now between those spaces, and that is so many cars. Patel is going to be looking to try and pick them off one after the other. The problem is everyone has slipstream, everyone has DRS, so it's got to come with his handling through the corners.
Yeah, sure does. So it's at this point in the race, all about control. It's all about making sure the car's not sliding about too much, making sure that you're still setting really, really good times, and that's the hard bit. The drivers like Patel, who have won World Championships, and Michele D'Alessandro, obviously a World Championship, the defending on his part. They should realistically know how to control a race, but you never really know until you're in it. And with a race as high intensity as this, I mean, this looks like a pressure cooker to me.
Quick look down to P14. It's Danny Vandeny is all up the back end of Lukaszek. Default car, and of course that was not a default attempt on P11 there. Just going to keep it held off for now. You can see he's winding up for maybe a DRS overtake on the grid straight. We'll have to see these turns. Yeah, you can see how the two different styles. It's quite interesting here between Danny Vandeny going really in close there and Lukaszek trying to use full width. I don't think he's got the exit speed, so the move ain't going to come in here. But after turn 7, a little bit back down the line on the back straight, I will be keeping an eye on them, Lewis.
Yeah, of course, tyre compound difference as well. Lukaszek on the medium tyre and Vandeny on the softs, closing up to each other. And the thing is, you talk about these different lines now. Obviously, different lines can come through a number of different things as we focus our way back up into the top 10 fight. Geoffrey Fournier really on the back of all this. Your line should realistically change, not only through different tyre compounds, but also through a stint. Your line should ever so slightly change through certain corners to really work the grip that you have better.
Oh, there's Danny Vandeny going down the outside. Lukaszek moving on the inside, trying to defend it, keep that momentum and position here for after turn 9. He's got the slipstream, so could he get a bite back? Let's keep an eye on this. Of course, slower tyre, but on the straight, it doesn't have that massive amount of difference. It will be here in the turns. Turn 10, you can see him not being able to keep that grip, has to fall back a little bit, and unfortunately concede the position. That is Danny Vandeny up into P14.
Yeah, beautiful drive around the outside. Of course, that increased grip, making that outside line work. We've got 2.5 seconds to separate the top two from third position. I must say, Panzar's doing an absolutely brilliant job here in third. We look at Simoncic.
Simoncic is closing in. It looks almost like we were saying earlier. We're thinking he's playing conservation, but he can close in that gap whenever he wants. This overtake is his, essentially, but he's choosing not to. It's a very interesting situation to be in when essentially Simoncic is using Birkov here as a tow. He's got a rope out and he's lassoed the back end of Birkov and is just letting himself get pulled along by that slipstream and DRS. And conserving those tyres, if we're looking at Birkov here, like, that's going out very wide where he's trying to reduce the weight on the outside tyre. You can see Simoncic unfortunately going a little bit wider out there. So Birkov knows Simoncic's plan and is just going to essentially try and match wear for wear.
But Birkov pitted a lot earlier to get ahead of Simoncic. Simoncic as well. Think about the scenario that we're looking at here. So Birkov yet to score a point in 2019. Simoncic has scored 100 points. Every single one up for offer has been taken by Simoncic. Currently in second position. Currently, I would say, in control. Very much in control. You said he can close that gap whenever he wants, and I think he can get by whenever he wants. But he doesn't see the risk at the moment. What's the point? So I think he is looking at a much longer term, a much broader picture is Simoncic. So if I were a betting man looking at this position, we're coming halfway through the race, my money would go on Simoncic right now because he is looking absolutely spot on.
But we do have to remember, like, one thing that's been interesting, of course, Robin Panzer, unfortunately, outside of DRS range, is just sticking behind. He's keeping a good drive, trying to keep outside the DRS range from Sander Callis and the rest of that pack. But Birkov here, as long as he pits well and pits at a correct time, I could see an undercut coming from him, you know?
Oh, I think he'll gain, yeah, for sure.
Where he can definitely try and gain, and then it's him as well. You could see Simoncic, if he calculates it properly, Birkov will then have to go heavy defending for what I'd imagine would be just one lap, and then pit straight away, because he's going to want to dart into those pits. And Simoncic, I wonder when he's going to put on the aggression. Is it to force the soft tyre for Birkov, essentially, where he'll try and put the aggression on early so that Birkov has to pit to stay out and, of course, go on to that soft? Or is Birkov going to be able to defend long enough and stay ahead long enough where he can then put on the super softs again? Yeah,
Birkov, though, is in a position where he has to make the strategy. Whatever ACR are doing at the moment, they can just cover the strategy. They can react. They've got all the cards. They can react first if they want. They can act on him. They can go for a move. They can stay where they are. Simoncic, as I say, an imperious position. I'd say don't underestimate Birkov, and I don't think ACR will. They've got their experience with a lot of race wins. It's as close as it's ever been, by the way. DRS as we run up towards turn 8 and 9, and this could be a move for the lead here, and I think it will be. Jone Simoncic down the inside and position gained. No, it will not.
I think Birkov. He let that.
I think he let him break a little bit early. Look at this, though.
Mind games right now is massive.
Is he going for it? We run down towards the really, really fast right-hander. He's going to keep his nose on the inside. Oh, he is going to go for it, though. But Birkov, much better on the outside. That grip around the outside, we've seen it work plenty time and time again. Simoncic seeming to throw a lot at him here. Not quite. Oh, a little bit of contact between the two. He's going to be down the inside into this corner. I don't think that's going to hold off because Birkov is going to have a great run around the outside. Wow, it's a super, super tight race between the two for the lead of the French Grand Prix. Birkov is going to have to concede here. A little bit of contact there from Simoncic. Tell me Simoncic doesn't want the lead. I will prove you wrong. Jone Simoncic up into the lead at the end of the 27th lap here of the French Grand Prix. But he is going to be under an unsurmountable pressure by Birkov.
Right, thoughts here. Is this because Simoncic knows he has a little bit more tyre life? So he was trying to fight with Birkov to wear Birkov's tyres more? Like, is that the plan he's going for? Is force Birkov into an earlier pit stop?
Potentially. I mean, I saw him. You know that little move, that cheeky look he had down the inside of the fast right-hander of turn 10? He looked down there, but then I saw him slow on the apex to make sure that he didn't scrub his tyres. It was so smart. Yes, he did go for a move around the outside of the next corner. But the thing was, he was careful. He knew that he couldn't really make it stick and just sort of thought, oh, well, I'll hang on to it here. This, by the way, has absolutely brought Panzer back into it.
It has indeed. And that could have been another plan for it, was to slow him down. Because looking at it, Birkov in Sector 1 there went just shy of 3/10 slower. Sector 2, he's gone just shy of 2 tenths slower. SimRacing has done this
Look
to
at this
bring
pace,
Panzer into
though.
question.
Look at this pace, though, from SimRacing. He has got by, and he is lighting the timing screens up. Personal best first sector, personal best second sector. He has picked now to break it. And the thing is he's got by Burikov, and I don't think Burikov is going to be in slipstream mode at the moment. He's not in slipstream. He's not even going to be in DRS at the moment. We come around the final corner, and Simicic is going to be leading by well over a second.
Into the pits goes
comes into the
Burikov.
pit lane.
Again, he knew when to give in there. So, looking at what is to remain.
Lap.
Blimey. And that's by a good, just over 10
Half a second nearly.
on Valeriano, who... sorry, not Valeriano.
I think Patel had the
Danny
previous
Van
fastest lead.
Danny Van Den Neet by 3 tenths there. So, Burikov coming out in 13th with an extra pit stop to everyone else. That's an interesting one.
But is he going to be able to get these to the end? Like, he's got to go 24 laps. How long did he go on this?
He's on the mediums. He's fine.
Yeah, but he was on the mediums before. And it was 19 laps he went before. So, yes, he probably can go an extra 5 laps. We saw that pace drop off at the end. And you see Simicic obviously went a lot longer on the super soft compound tyre, comes into the pit lane, sits behind Burikov, makes a move, instantly sets the fastest lap of the race, pulls out 2 seconds over Panzer. And realistically, can Burikov set those kind of times to get to the end? I don't think so.
No, because Burikov's got to manage those tyres, because that has to be his last set. Now, Simicic, if I look at this, are we going to see
and he's
him?
lost his rear wing as Mohamed Patel. And he's out of the race. Your 2017 FSR World Championship World Champion. A little bit of contact there with Fournier. Came back across him. We'll get a replay of that, I'm sure. Spun. As he was carrying quite a lot of speed, wasn't fully in control of the car, reverses effectively straight back into the barrier, loses the rear wing, a lot of suspension damage, and that is Patel out of the race.
You never want a driver out like that. Well, you don't want drivers out of a race, to be honest. At all, it's heartbreaking, but it happens. Yeah, just what it is. Looking forward to P7. Damage Rojek on with the overtake on Ricardo Costa. Costa down early into the inside. Going to try and get a little bit of slipstream back and get a bit of pace, of course, where he wants to get the bike back after turn 9 and then into 10, maybe get an overtake there, but that doesn't look like he's going to be fast enough to pull it off. So Damage Rojek taking P6. Costa closing in, but too little, too late.
Certainly is, but Ricardo Costa now has his teammate all over the back of him. Of course, his teammate, pitting on a very different strategy, has taken the mediums on the first stint that he did, and then mediums on the second stint. So I'd be interested to see if Ricardo Costa fights his teammate too much. If I was the team manager, I'd be like, no, let him go, off you go.
Geoffrey Fournier just set in fastest sector 2, by the way. So I think Geoffrey is trying to hammer out. Yeah, there's Ricardo Costa into the pits.
Panzer as well.
This seems like there's still life in these tyres. It is purely upon what Burikov pitted on earlier. These guys are going on to another set of the mediums. Yep, Panzer out on the mediums.
I think ACR are covering Burikov with Panzer, and they're going to leave Simicic to lead away. Of course, Burikov will be ahead of Panzer, coming down to the end of pit lane, just about. Not too much gap between the two of them, but I think they're hoping that Panzer can set some decent lap times and close up to the back of Kirill Burikov, get by and really, really hold him up.
Makes sense. I'm also looking at Simicic here. From what we saw last time, Simicic should be in on this lap. He's putting down a solid pace. It is faster than what Burikov has been putting down. So a pit stop now should keep him out in, it would be P9 at that, P8, sorry, where it'd be just ahead of Burikov. But that is all speculation. Who knows? Simicic, he's just set his fastest personal best in Sector 2. So maybe those tyres have a little bit more life and he could stay out and then maybe go on to softs.
He's on his 19th lap of this stint. There is 23 to go in the French Grand Prix, so whether he's going to be coming in this time or staying out and just setting a decent time, I think he's going to be staying out. A bit of a moment there on the exit of the final corner there for Simičić. See Alessandro all over the back of Callas, who comes into the pit lane as well. So Callas trying to get himself onto a strategy that promotes Peter Burlak, our 2015 world champion, onto the podium.
The Edge guys have had quite a decent season so far. Like, we look at the points, they're definitely trying to fight up and take a second away from the ACR blue side. Only 2 points back, but then you look at the John Lessie Academy. Unfortunately, with Patel going out earlier, that is going to damage them. So all eyes, of course, have to go to Per Berjak. He's currently sitting in third. If he can somehow snatch away a higher position, it's going to be a good recovery drive for Edge today, who will be falling down in the championship standings, unfortunately.
Yeah, not the greatest day for Edge, but potentially they can take quite a bit from it. Peter Burlak, the last time I commentated on a race with Peter Burlak in, he was staring, oddly enough, and it wasn't in this league, it was in a different one, he was staring at the back of an ACR around the Le Castello circuit. So how interesting could that be? Showed some really incredible pace towards the end of that. So we'll see if Peter can keep in control of his tyres. An absolute quality driver. He has been for multiple years. I've signed him once a long time ago, back in 2014. And has been an incredibly good driver. Has won multiple championships across a lot of open winners. D'Alessandro will come into the pit lane and promote Peter up to second position.
And remember, that is the fight there for third currently within the standings, because Edge, John Lessie are tied with 82 points. So D'Alessandro trying to go with the early pit stop, trying to gain some ground there. Just saw as well, if you take a look back to P8, who's that within DRS range? Oh no, it's just outside because of the detection range. We're talking literal hundredths there. But Robin Panzer closing in on Birkov.
I think Pittman and the bunch will be wanting Panzer just to cover off Birkov and keep him under a lot of pressure to stop Birkov from napping.
Still going like 4 to 5 tenths, like within that range, a lap faster as well.
Insane, isn't it?
Ridiculous.
Absolutely insane pace here from our World Championship leader, looking to win his 5th Grand Prix of the season, as Callas got by Valeriano for 8th and 9th position. A little bit of a swap there. Fastest first sector as well, P11. Braxok, obviously not the greatest day of all time. Another driver yet to score a point, set a really good qualifying time. Only 6 thousandths off of pole position. Started on the front row, contacted the first corner between himself and Ricardo Costa, who is the car directly behind him on circuit.
And Roshek both into the pits, one after the other. This is going to be an interesting one because, again, 20 laps remaining. This could be the point where you see softs come on, if tyres can make that work. Oh, that's a little bit of a touch-in. They've both got the same pit place.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
That is horrible from Rochek. Oh, that stings.
That is super unfortunate.
Is that going to cause diffuser damage, though, for Peter Burlak, who's come out just behind Michele D'Alessandro? You spoke about that championship, the championship ramifications there for the two teams. Oh, but that is so unfortunate.
Makes me want to cry a little bit, not going to lie.
A little bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is a bitter pill to swallow in that team, that is for sure. Fastest lap of the race, though, has gone to Braxok in now 10th position.
Into the 130s as well. Damn.
Yeah, super speed at the moment. Simičić dropping back into the very slow 131.5s. Still showing some very good pace as he. Still faster than 2 cars behind, which pitted a lot more recently than he did.
Yeah, because I'm just
and he's in the pit lane.
Ooh. I'm having a quick look. Robin Panzer last time doing a 131.0. Birkov doing a 131.2. Now Simičić with those lightning fast laps, and he is putting on a set of the medium, so he will be they're in a better state than his
I think he
rival.
might still lead.
I think he will as well. Birkov just coming around the last lap. No DRS for him as well. Simčić outside the limiter. This is going to be right down to the wire, but it's looking like Simčić yet will hold on to first. And blimey, with the pace he's at there, when it comes around to the straight, I reckon he is outside of DRS range.
The end of that stint for Simčić was outstanding. Wow. I mean, to have fresh rubber on Birkov car. Birkov must be sitting there thinking, how? What? Sorry? Is he ahead?
And he is out of DRS.
Yeah, and Birkov on the previous lap, by the way, just at the fastest lap of the race, and Simčić is still ahead. He set a 30.7 and is still staring at the back of the ACR.
Now, when we look at these ACRs, of course, because Ron Panzer is currently in 5th, of course, we know this is the final result, will be 3rd, because Michi Hoyer and Geoffrey Fournier both need to move into the pits. But if I'm one of the ACR lads, Panzer, a bit like what Simčić was doing earlier, is probably just sitting behind Birkov until the last 2 laps, and it's just going to sit there, because he's not going to want to get in ahead to maybe hand over a little bit of slipstream or anything like that to give any advantage. Birkov, now I'm actually seeing him pull out the fastest lap of the race, so he knows he's got to close down this space. But yeah, Panzer can just hold on and slipstream all day long.
I think what I'm seeing here from Birkov is he's given up. He's seen... Oh, he's just at a 131.9. That is 1.2 seconds slower than his previous lap. I think he is seeing Simčić come out in front of him and think, oh, why bother? Almost. I'm not saying that that's actually what he's thinking, but that is hard when you put so much effort in putting all the speed down, and your main rival has still come out ahead, and you can't catch him. So you're just going to refocus on second position. Panzer directly behind. Roycheck, by the way, after the incident in the pit lane with him not getting into his box, thanks to Peter Burlak, is 8 seconds behind Peter Burlak, but has just set the fastest lap of the race at 30.6. Braxock just sets the fastest first sector in 9th position as well. So time's tumbling here in the French Grand Prix.
Yeah, Roycheck, when we look at that, currently 12, but with the pit stops ahead still to happen, still in the points. So should be good. As long as he can close that on in. Just saw Ricardo Costa take P10 away from Giordano Villano. That's him getting into the first of the points. My, though, now looks towards Geoffrey Fournier. Like I said, starting on those mediums, onto a second set of mediums. When does he change off them?
Well, I think when there's about 12 laps to go.
You reckon it is? So
yeah.
You reckon it's going to be on lap 41 then?
It's sort of like 40.
Oh, Panzer fighting with Birkov right now. Oh, Kirill Birkov being able to keep it on the outside there, and will keep provisional lead. But what happens? Oh, Panzer backing out of it. He knows the fight there. But yeah, like you said, that is Callas now coming into the fold. This is craziness.
Yeah, Netrex looking for their first podium in the 2019 campaign as well. Sandar Callas all over the back of what we think will inevitably become the podium positions. Panzer all over the back of Birkov, looking down the inside, coming into the 8-9 chicane. Nothing quite
Sandro's closed in as well.
Absolutely. So this fight is closing up again. This train, it seems to obviously spread out when they come into the pit lane, but as soon as they come out, the fresh rubber, they'll all be closing back up again. Birkov trying to do as much as he can to hold behind. Geoffrey Fournier will be wanting this, same with Michi Hoyer, because that means that they'll all be a bit closer when they come in. But yes, I think Fournier's strategy will lead him to pit with sort of 12, 13 laps to go. He'll come out on the softer compound tyre. Of course, he's yet to change compound, so it makes sense that he'll come out on either the super softs or the softs at this point. Surely he'll come out on the supers. But yeah, wow.
Blimey. Yannick Simčić just put down a 1:30.391 personal best and, of course, fastest lap of the race. 1.9 seconds faster than Birkov behind him. That just shows, like, Birikov's tyres are 6 laps older. He knows that race is done, and now he is on the defense drive for silver. He wants P2, and he's just going to keep that away from Robin Panzer.
My question is for those that are fighting in the championship against Simoncic, and you see him do a drive like this. You've seen him do a drive like China, where he one-stops. You've seen him do this drive, where he's so in control. He's not led every lap, but he has been in control every lap. And that's, for a driver racing in the championship, that's hard, as Mrocek gets into 11th position past Valeriano.
We cannot discredit the effort that Robin Panzer had to put in to make that possible for him. He wingman something rotten, and he looks like he's in a prime position to be able to take second place for his efforts. They were slipstreaming with each other to set the tone. They set the condition of the tyres throughout the entire race. ACR today have just been in top form.
Yeah, definitely section perfection when it comes down to their on-track antics, and ACR looking like they're really asserting themselves as the top team in FSR at the moment. Still a long way to go in the race, realistically, another 15 laps and we are done here at the French Grand Prix. And what a race it has been. Still to decide who is going to be on that podium position. A couple of pit stops for the top two, and then racing between the bottom lot. For that lot, we've got Kirill Burikov currently leading Panzer Kalas D'Alessandro, and Peter Burlak closing up to the back of this. Who is going to be on that podium? I could not tell you. Mrocek sets the fast lap of 29. First 29 of the race, 29.9 there. So he is obviously very angry after that pit stop. Burikov, Panzer looked down the inside. Didn't quite do anything there, but just gave him a cheeky little look.
For Burikov, this has got to be feeling like a bit of deja vu from earlier as well, when Simoncic couldn't make it there, pulled out. So we'll have to see. Panzer, what is he going to do with this? Again, on the outside, he's trying it, going out very wide. It's not going to work there, but he will have momentum. Go into P12. Look at that down the inside. That is a super wide line for Burikov, who's trying to defend.
Fournier in. Mitchy Hoyer in.
And this is earlier than what you thought, so we might see the soft tyre.
Yeah, you are seeing the soft tyre on both of them, so they're not confident in getting to the point where they can do the super soft to the end. They think they're going to lose too much track position. However, look at this, Fournier coming to the end of the pit lane. Burikov and the lights go by, so he is going to be joining the back end of that train, is Jeffrey Fournier. Obviously a little bit further behind, but on the softer compound, he's going to be closing up to the back of this, as so still a potential podium on home soil there for Fournier.
You got to think, started in 11th, now up to 8th. With those fresh tyres that are softer, some more grip, I could see Fournier maybe within a chance to climb a couple more spots here. Of course, he's got Bradshaw to deal with first. We'll have to see, yeah, just outside of DRS range, but so is Bradshaw up ahead. I could see him try and deal with Bradshaw.
Contact between Panzer and Burikov going into 8 and 9. Panzer down the inside, a little bit of contact as Burikov turned in. Not too sure if Panzer ran a little bit off the apex. They're going to be subsidized. A bit more contact there as Burikov just brushes the back of the ACR blue car. Down towards 10. We know the outside line normally prevails around this corner. Sandow Kalas down the inside. Surely not. No. Burikov, not quite. He's going to drop back there, but Panzer makes this an ACR.
Alessandro brought into question as well. A little bit of touching.
It's pushed him wide. He's going to come back towards Burlak, but it's an ACR 1-2 at the moment, of course, between the sister teammates as D'Alessandro putting all the pressure over Sandar Kalas. Peter Burlak not too far behind, looking to get involved. This will all be helping Jeffrey Fournier closing up on those soft compound tyre.
Literally, Fournier is licking his lips at the opportunity of that feast ahead. They're all within DRS of each other, all slipstream. He's on the softer tyre. He was probably there thinking, right, 13 laps to go right now, 14 actually. I'm looking at best maybe getting 6th. With this all closing up like it has early, he could be looking higher than that. And this for him on his home race has got to be just absolutely amazing. Looking at the last pits as well, just come in now. Valeriano coming off on the super softs. Stephen Michaels just making his way in, and Lukaszek behind him.
Oh, there's one for Fournier. Should be nice and easy down the inside. The only issue is because they're all on a train, they're all getting slipstream and DRS, which is the tricky. If they were one by one, Fournier would have absolutely no problem coming through.
But Fournier's got the turns.
Off.
Wait for turn 11 coming up here. We're coming into turn 10 right now. The possibility for the inside move, or even the outside, because he's got better grip, could be a treat for him. Oh, yeah, look at that. Him closing that in. I mean, don't get me wrong, he went for the inside line, but you can just see on the exit here, him being able to close that time down. He's gaining time through these turns like nothing else.
An aggressive driver is the Frenchman. We'll see if he can make his way through this battle pack. But yeah, he's already passed one of them and has the confidence as well. So
Hazard trying to get a bit of distance as well. You can see him putting down a heavier mix.
T1.
As he needs to get away from Birkov.
Yeah, sorry, Jeffrey Fournier. Now, there's another one. Up to 6th position is the Frenchman. This could be an incredible drive from Fournier. 11th position he started on the medium compound tyre. Pits, takes the medium compound tyres, leads a lot of laps here. The French Grand Prix, home soil for him. 6th place at the moment, staring down the back of our current defending world champion and defending race winner, Michele D'Alessandro, currently in 5th position. A podium not too far up the road for him.
If he could do that, 11th to 3rd, we first we'll want to shake his hand for it, of course. That country divides there in a good old river. But that would be impressive stuff. Oh, Sandro happened to heavily defend there, but look at that pace.
Contact!
All contact! Caught up with the wheels. Geoffrey Fournier not going to be happy with that one. But, of course, the battle going on between Callas and Birkov up ahead, where Callas has taken P3, mind you, has sort of remedied that little tussle that Fournier had with Alessandro, as that P3 is now a possibility. Oh, the slide out, Alessandro!
What a catch!
Whew. Okay, ice skates are on. And unfortunately, they're slip and sliding everywhere here, as those medium tyres are going to be absolutely knackered for Alessandro. And note this, Fournier up into P5, doing better than any expectations, and he looks to go better.
Yeah, I think if I was Fournier, I'd be rightfully sort of aggrieved by that incident with D'Alessandro. Alessandro came across before the corner, and just, I don't know, I think Fournier was kind of had the high ground there. He had the right. Not that D'Alessandro should have just let him go.
It looked like Alessandro came back in and, he put his front tyre in front.
In that gap,
Yeah, he should have known his space a little bit more. It's just a racing incident.
Yeah, nothing major.
Yeah, it happens. No one came off with with any damage from what it looks. You might have very minor suspension, but it's not going to hurt here. And eyes on Fournier, of course, softer tyre going on the inside of Birkov. He looks to be holding back. He knows he ain't going to get the overtake on 10. But coming to 11, let's have a look. No, he's looking to be a bit reserved. Now, one thing as well, we thought he'd be moving on to the super soft tyres. He chose the softs, and I think it is for this exact reason of he knew the overtakes are going to take a lot of tyre life out of them. So he's making sure that he's got that allowance, he's got the leeway, and that is a smart choice.
Murchek has been off the road as well, so handing the final points paying position to pit lane starter Michi Hoyer. So ACR currently on either end of the points, and it's not a sandwich. It's not an ACR sandwich. We're just going to get that one out of the way. It's ACR bread and a sandwich. I'm just saying, just get that one out of the way. That's for James Kirk, because he knows I get irritated by that. One person who might be a little bit irritated is Jeffrey Fournier, who, as I say, after that incident, might have just set him up a little bit to be just a little bit angry. And sometimes when you do that, you go a little bit quicker. So that may work in Fournier's favour, actually. Closing up to the back of Birkov in the DRS range. Birkov not in the DRS, by the way. Not close enough yet.
No. We have to quickly see Callas down the road as well is probably Fournier's last target, as Panzer, I don't know.
There we go.
He's outside the range, but Fournier on the inside, he is within the range. the grip to be able to hold on the inside, and Birkov knowing that that is not a fight he is going to win, hands over the position, will have to concede to 5th, and Fournier, look at him just already pulling away there.
Yeah, I mean, this is top level stuff here from Fournier. I mean, I don't really want to be taking too much away from Simoncic because obviously the drive that he's put together, but I'm sorry that Fournier would be my driver of the day so far because what an insane effort from 11th up to this position. Really going to be closing down to the back of Sandar Callas as well. Looking at that podium position, Callas, by the way, closing up to the back of Panzar. So potentially that fight for second not done yet, and the Frenchman could take further positions.
See, I'm not biased driver because Fournier would have to earn this, but I do sort of wish him on, you know, for that second place because he has earned it today. A complete flip of strategy to everyone else. He's been on his own in that regard. I mean, he sort of had Michi Hoyer pulling off the same ideas as him, considering Hoyer had to pit that early on, of course, and was onto the mediums, all that sort of jazz. Oh,
Alessandro, yeah. That's going to be Alessandro through nicely around the outside. A little bit of contact between the two on the exit of 8 and 9. It's going to open Burkov up for Burlak to attack. Comes down to this corner. I think Burkov going to be dropping back. It's a shame because it's been a brilliant drive from Burkov as well. Has been really challenging for the lead most of the race. Peter Burlak now going to demote him potentially down to the 7th position if he can get through. I think he may just be able to hold on as Burkov.
Burlak had to brake there to not cause an incident on the inside, so good stuff for him. But again, remember that Burlak is racing against Alessandro here. What with? Do you believe that is 7 laps remaining? Burlak needs to close in on Alessandro and try and steal 5th away from him because that would put his team in the lead.
Yeah, so very, very important stuff there for Burlak to get up to Alessandro and get by him as well, although I think that Alessandro gap might be just a little bit too much over the final few laps of this race for him to catch and pass all over the back of Burkov, potentially trying to go for a move, as I say, maybe down into 8 and 9.
Eyes to Fournier.
He's got Braxock behind. Yeah, eyes to Fournier closing back.
Does he have the DRS? Yes, he does. Quickly look, Callas in front does as well. So this is Callas trying to close in on Panzer, and Fournier, of course, going to be able to carry a lot more speed through the chicane here. And then we'll see again, round turn 11, it's been his friend here. What can he do?
If I'm wishing Fournier well, he's definitely doing well. He's doing a very, very good job. And I say I would put the advantage to him to get up into that second place.
Bradshaw. Sandro, he's crashed out. I don't know what happened there. I just saw him tumbling down the list. Cameraman, please, let's have a little look at this, because unfortunately I don't have the rewind feature on my Prime.
His engine just blew out. On the run out of 8 and 9, down towards turn 10. Obviously, we're going to get a replay of this momentarily. But his engine just goes pop. And that is D'Alessandro, the defending race winner, the defending world champion, out of the race. Oh my, we were speaking about this before. If they were to run in that qualifying mode, they don't have very much time in that qualifying mode to actually get through. And unfortunately, D'Alessandro... Oh no.
Yep, it's not how you wanted to go. Of course, he was wanting to get a bit of distance there. And that gives Edge, essentially, I've got to do it, the Edge. They're going to be taking the lead of their little battle, their little rivalry in the championship standards. Getting egged on with these puns.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to be fair, if Andreas didn't want all these puns, he would have picked a different name for his team. A good guy, Andreas was, though. So has been running a team in SimRacing for quite a while. It used to be Wells Automotive. Changed to Edge Esports with a complete rebrand of the team a year and a bit ago, maybe a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. I don't know how old I am. But obviously they've always approached SimRacing with the highest level, taking drivers like Peter Burlak and the likes. So that realistically, maybe not. It's not the way they wanted to gain from it, but they will take the position, especially from a French Grand Prix that's not realistically gone to plan for them.
You guys can see Robin Panzer under attack from two drivers, Anna Callis and Geoffrey Fournier. That then means like the Robin Panzer sort of tried to dart ahead too early, thus he's having to nurse those tyres now. We'll find out. He's still got a few laps remaining. Again, I'm unbiased, clearly, us commentators here with Fournier, but that is purely for the story. It's been one hell of a drive from him. Callis as well, we have to say, has had a cracking day. Like, both these two lads have earned it. Robin Panzer has been a brilliant wingman, we have to say, so he sort of deserves second there. But Simoncic has left him in the dust, and so he's not going to be getting any help from him anymore.
These three, I think, any way round, they will be popular on the podium. You've got Panzer, who's been that brilliant wingman, has done a very, very good job today, into second position. Sandor Callis, realistically, we maybe should have seen him on pole position. Was setting a very good lap time, was blocked by Michele D'Alessandro into the 8-9 chicane.
Can we just note as well, if Callis somehow winds up second, he would have, like, he would have quadrupled Netrex's points.
Yeah, let's say they're still looking for that first podium of their 2019 campaign.
Lines are a little bit dodgy as well through turn 1 and then into 2 there. Seems a little bit odd to me, that little chicane. Of course, all three drivers taking very slight differences, and it's basically down to who dares hug that curb closest, you know?
Yeah, so well, to be fair, the curves around here, as much as they look flat, they're not. They're really, really tricky. They can be nasty, especially through power inputs. We see Sandor Callis, look at this, closing up to the outside through the chicane. Oh, I think that is him up into second position. ACR goes for the cutback for Panzer. A little bit of contact between the two, just front wing ever so slightly to the rear right wheel of Sandor Callis. But Callis, we know he's got a lot of downforce on this car, which means that he is going to be literally a sitting duck.
Fournier has got so much pace. Panzer going straight in on the defense. Will hold him off, but yeah, Fournier was just sitting back, letting that all happen. And now Panzer, I can't see him getting a bite back on Callis because he's got to defend against Fournier here.
But maybe Fournier not going for a move quite straight after may allow Callis to pull away quite a lot here. We'll see what happens with the slipstream. Of course, there's a bit of a DRS zone on the run down towards turn 1. Some slipstream will come into effect, and then on the run down towards 8 and 9 as well. And we know Callis in qualifying was 10 kilometers an hour slower than the ACR. So that may potentially hurt him here and hurt his chance of that second position unless he can break away. We know how quick he is in that first sector.
Quick look as well. Petr Berjak is on the attack on Burikov. Burikov, of course, not having any DRS, any slipstream, as he is leading the train from P5. So it just does not get better for that lad. It is proper heart-wrenching stuff. I'm currently looking at Berjak. Does have DRS. He's going to have the slipstream, but I think he's just a little too far back to be able to get the overtake here.
Yeah, Janos Braxok as well. Right in the back of this. Obviously, Braxok started from the front row. Burikov has led a few laps today.
Simoncic has just set the fastest lap.
All right, Sebastian Vettel.
Like, just considering against Callis, right?
Oh.
He has just gone 1.2 seconds faster than Sandor Callis in P2.
Incredible.
It shows how much extra life is in the medium tyres. That's all I can say there, if he can pull out fastest laps at this point.
Yeah, only a few laps to go in this one. We are on the 51st lap of 53, so not much longer to go. The battle for 5th position really, really heating up, as is the one a little bit further. Up the grid for the podium position, we see Peter Burlak all over the back of Burikov on the run down towards turn 1. I think this is going to be done here at the first corner. Peter Burlak should be able to go around the outside of Burikov, and I think, yes, he will. That's going to open Burikov up to Braxok, though. A little bit too much power on the exit of the second corner for Burikov. slides the rear end all over the place. Peter Burlack might be under attack into 8 and 9 as well through the DRS. A bit of a moment
Burlack
there.
losing grip.
Oh, that's going to cost him all the way through this bit.
Yeah, that should really mean... Oh, Burkhoff going really wide out there, so he loses.
That's a great run.
Yeah, Bradshaw here is my favourite probably to try and get a move going on soon. Of course, Burkhoff with the DRS able to make that look easy, but Bradshaw, broke heavily there down the straight.
How potent was that DRS from Burkhoff? My goodness me.
Scary stuff. Looking at it as well, Geoffrey Fournier not closing in really on Robin Panzer. So, in Callas, a comfortable distance ahead now. Not going to be able to do it in one DRS move. So Fournier, is he coming down to the last bit of these tyres? Does he have to nurse it now and just settle for P4?
Or is he timing it to a point where Panzer couldn't respond? GF, obviously very experienced in sim racing, and I'm sure he'll know when to go for that move if he can, or maybe just unfortunately not able to do it. We'll have to wait and see how that podium unfolds. Panzer's not really dropped off the back of Callas too much, but Callas, I think he's just out of attack at the moment. We'll keep an eye on those as they run down towards 8 and 9, because this could be very, very important. 2 laps to go in the French Grand Prix. An ominous drive for Jere Simoncic in that championship. It will look like it'll go to 5 from 5 from him. An extremely dominant start to his 2019
still
season.
With DRS, I was looking at that. It was within a tenth, that DRS activation. So close. That's why Callas is not getting away. Is that he just has not broken the DRS boundary yet.
Oh, but that's really frustrating for Fournier, because he's just looking at him going, come on, Callas, just go, please. Just a little bit more. It may come down to the final lap of the Grand Prix as to who is going to be on this podium. Sandor Callas looks pretty confirmed for a second position after potentially getting that pole position, had it taken away from him, started 6th. Panzer, a bit of a mistake there. That'll be it for DRS for Panzer.
And for me, with that little error, this should open it up to Fournier. Yep, there is no DRS love being given to Robin Panzer, so he is going to be losing out speed-wise. Fournier not going to be able to get the overtake done here, but that closes up into a nice little range, and then on that back straight with the slipstream, we can expect magic happening there.
If he can close up, he needs to get closer than this. He's currently 6/10 behind. He needs to close up through this section and really, really leave that this complex on the rear end. And Panzer wide! Panzer has gone wide. That'll be it. Because now Fournier is going to be close enough. He's going to carry a beautiful drive through the corner. And this is going to promote Geoffrey Fournier onto the podium at his home race. The French Grand Prix now has a Frenchman standing in the 3rd spot of the podium into the chicane. Beautifully done. A mistake from Panzer, one of the very few of this race, just drops him off of the podium. And how unfortunate is that?
We've got to now take our eyes as well up to Simoncic. He's coming around the last sector, apparently into turn 13. What a drive it has been for Simoncic once again, who keeps the perfect season alive. Turn 15, of course, you can see the wiggle coming out. Going on the inside, wiggle, 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 and yes, he has got his 5th. Oh, it's just been so good. That 5th gold, essentially, and 125 points. He is just driving off into the distance, and it seems like no one can touch him this season.
Sandor Callas, beautiful drive as well. 2nd position from 6th. Geoffrey Fournier, what more needs to be said about that? 3rd position, maybe gifted to him a little bit there from the ACR Blue Boys of Robin Panzer. Burkhoff just holds on to 5th position. Peter Burlack and Braxock not able to get by in 6th and 7th. Mitchie Hoyer from the pit lane. Don't underestimate that drive. That is a good drive from the ACR driver, up into 8th position from the pit lane. Mrocek, after his issues in the pit lane as well, sharing the same box as Burlack, obviously cost him, I think, in the region of 8 seconds, which if you look at it, would have put him 5th. He would have been in that battle with Burlack. Unfortunately not. Ricardo Costa in 10th position, out the final point scorer. Outside of the points there, we've got Danny Fantini, Valeriano as well. Peo Piva just going to leave in 13th position. Lukacek going to be taken 14th position. Olden Menger will be taken 15th on his debut of the series for Edge. Stephen Michaels as well rounds out the grid. We've got a couple of DNFs. Of course, that engine failure for Michele D'Alessandro reversing into the wall from Mohamed Patel. A terrible, terrible day for the John Lacey Esports Academy. And then Frami Autosports' Yuri Kasdorp left the race early, still unsure as to the reason why. Left turns 8 and 9, wiggled a little bit, and then went, nope, I'm out, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been one hell of a race, I have to say. France, for me, is always a bit of a weird one, but today it had delivered. We've had strategy. We have had absolute bundles upon bundles of overtakes. Definitely, it's got to come down to the mod we're using with where Slipstream is so heavy within it, so that you can make those overtakes. So I just can't wait to have probably a talk in a little bit with drivers. I'm currently looking at the broadcast room, just waiting to see once we get a couple of interviewees come on in. As we are going to quickly move to Discord, guys. We will be back in a few seconds. Hey, with that, we're back. It was literally a few seconds.
That's confusing. I had two of you in my ear. What a race, though. I mean, from a very serious standpoint, Journey Simmons, a fifth win. I mean, what can he do? His closest rival in the championship, Peter Burlak, going into this round in 6th place. You know that he's got to be going through the season at the moment with so much confidence. As I said, he won a championship earlier today. Has now won another race. Is there another favourite for the championship? I don't think anyone can touch Simoncic this season.
Yeah, I'm currently trying to work out the points. So that would put Burlak up into 71 points, still coming in second as well, and Simoncic up to 125. Quick maths to me makes that... Christ, I'm actually going to get out of the calculator because my maths is just falling me. So
71 to 125 is
54 points. 5 races in.
Yeah, that's 2 race wins.
Over.
Yeah,
2 race wins.
He can leave for the British Grand Prix, for the German Grand Prix, come back in Hungary, and no matter what has happened, he will still lead the championship. That's crazy.
Wow.
Bono, the last person to have that kind of lead. Obviously, a 5-time world champion. Bono was massively dominant through his campaign in the series. Won that final championship against Morgan Miranda, I think, after an issue in the pit lane, as far as I remember, back in 2014 at COTA. My memory does not serve me very well that late. I'm getting old.
Well, remember, I've only been commentating SimRacing since last September, so you've got much more knowledge than I do, Lewis.
I started in FSR commentating in the Winter Series either at the end of 2012 or the start of 2013. I don't actually remember which one it was. It was the first ever series we did in rFactor 2, and it was 6.5 years ago.
Blimey. That is quite a while. But something else that's been going on for quite a while is Yerny Simoncic's run at the top. Yerny, welcome to the commentating booth. Dude, 5 for 5. How do you do it? What keeps you going at the top?
I was just talking to the team and told them that I'm speechless. I really didn't expect it to be P1 after driving 9 hours of Le Mans. Yeah, I had 70 laps or 80 laps of practice before Le Mans, so after that I just tried a stint or a little bit of quali, and I really thought I would be maybe P6, P7 in qualifying, and then maybe fighting for top 8 or maybe top 5. But then, I knew that the journalism and edge guys were also busy with some other stuff. And to be honest, I do not think I had much of a pace advantage. But I just have to say massive thanks for Birukov for choosing the strategy that he chose, because he just pulled me out of the others' DRSs out of the train, which allowed me then to push longer and to get much younger tires for whole last stint.
Well, we saw that definitely in the race. Strategy was a key part, and it near enough failed to everyone falling into the trap that Birukov was starting to put down. But one driver that didn't get pulled into that trap, you never saw him, unfortunately, Geoffrey Fournier, pulling off the whole flip side strategy. So coming into today, did you think you were going to be pulling off the two pit stop, or were you probably going like China, hoping for the one, or were you reacting to what everyone else was doing? What was the initial plan coming into today?
Well, 53 laps of my practice was a practice race. So we tested different strats, and one stopper was just straight out of the question. It was just not gonna work. But the stopper was easy, and we could even like perform an overcut or undercut. And I did the overcut in the test race, so I thought I could do it in the actual race too, and it worked magic.
So, looking forward to this rest of the season, do you think that the good streak can keep continuing, considering that, like, definitely with your strategy today, you were using Robin Panzer as a wingman, weren't you, for that initial stint anyway, helping each other out, and of course, Robin coming out with some good results himself. Do you think you're going to continue using strategy in that to really get the results that you pulled off so far this season, going into, the British Grand Prix as well as the German one?
I don't really know what to think at the moment, because it kind of seems to me that the main rivals from last year, so Michele, Petar, Mu, are all giving up, and I don't know what to think about that. So I'm really speechless about that. Yeah, empty mind. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I'd imagine it was an absolutely mind-boggling race, so it is understandable. So we're going to have to let you go off, Yone, but bringing in someone else that got a mind-boggling race underway, Geoffrey Fournier. Dude, congrats on that. 11th to 3rd. Absolute nuts performance today.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you very much.
So looking at that, how do you feel like everything went, considering, of course, well, apart from great, but how, like, because, of course, you were going in with a complete different strategy than everyone. Starting on P11, you started on those medium tyres, and everyone else, of course, ahead of you on the softs and falling into Lukaszek's plans. How happy were you to see that this strategy, which was the complete and utter flip opposite to everyone else, was working? And what was your sort of mindset going throughout the race?
Well, actually, it was a very similar strategy to them, but the big advantage I had is that I could keep within the DRS train for the first 10 laps. When the guys were on their super soft, I was still like 6 seconds to the lead with my medium tires. So I could limitate the time loss, because in fact I was in traffic, but I was not stuck because I had the medium, so I could push it all the way,
Good stuff. So coming into this, of course, because that was a fantastic race from you. How are you feeling going into the British Grand Prix next time round? Are you feeling confident there to pull out another outstanding one and rake in even more points?
Well, the goal is clear. Scoring points, pretty much trying to score points every race. For now we are in a comfortable position. Orimila in 5th place. So, well, the goal is to have some fun and try if we can shake up a bit the order more in the front and not only in the lower top 10 position.
So, considering today's difference in tyre strategy, considering it was heavily a two-stop. The one-stop, as we heard from Yerny earlier, was not an option. Do you favour races where you can use more tyres, essentially? Does that pull into your style of driving a lot easier? Like, does it make the drive better for you?
I don't know. Well, actually, I don't have much of a choice. When you, out of 5 races, you are not even able to qualify once in the top 10, and you score points in 4th out of 5 races, well, I don't have the choice, so it's full attack race, trying to not disturb the guys who are leading while they are recovering on me, and keeping focus on what is my plan and not the other's plan.
Well, so, I mean, Lewis will back me up on this one. I did say it before the race. I said, when you qualified in 11, I said, keep an eye on Joffrey, because he's not a qualifier. He is a racer. We've seen it so far this season, like you said, coming out 5th in Australia. Unfortunately, only 13th in China, but 8th in Azerbaijan and 9th in Canada. And here, getting onto the podium for a 3rd really shows that element of qualifying does not matter for you. The actual race is all that matters. And you can pull off absolute miracles, which of course is great to see. Before you head off, dude, any final words, any shout outs you want to make?
Yeah, thank you for the hard work, FSR administration, and also for the live. So thank you guys, and yeah, see you in Silverstone.
Oh, that is actually really heartwarming and cute. Joffrey, I'm going to let you head off back to probably celebrate it, I'd imagine. Lewis, looking at this going forward, how good was today's race? Like, how can we sum this up? Because it was nuts, I think, and that's just the short of it.
Yeah, from a strategical point of view, we were all over the place. There was some really, really good driving throughout the grid. Of course, you had everything after every pit stop. It would all bunch back up again, which then I think that backs Simicic's win being by such a margin. I think it was around 15 seconds by the end of the race. It backs up how that was and how well controlled that was. I said it was like a Marc Marquez style thing. He looked after his tyres and went when he wanted to go. And when he did go, my goodness, it was like a bullet out of a gun. He absolutely fired off into the distance, still maintaining control over his tyres, which is going to be concerning for quite a lot of the teams heading into Silverstone and across the rest of the calendar, of course. But there were some really, really good drives today. Not too many silly things around the circuit, which does sort of invite some of that stuff. So, Silverstone in a couple of weeks' time is going to be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, because of course there's a lot of runoffs to Silverstone as well. And I'm loving how clean the racing's around here. And one thing I love as well is the whole, where this is simulation, it's not real driving, that slipstream aspect, which is so much more powerful on this mod, really encourages those overtakes. And today's race was just absolutely bonkers of how good it was, with the strategy, of course, coming in, and then just the pure ability to overtake from everyone. So I'm so excited because it's only 2 weeks away, Silverstone. What are we expecting there? Are we expecting another Simicic pole, or do you think someone else is going to have a crack at that first place this time round?
Maybe not pole. I think maybe someone else can get pole. I mean, to be fair, I still maintain that Sander Kalla should have had pole here. Because his first sector on that lap was just absolutely ridiculous. That said, though, with it being a circuit where tyre management is again very, very high, I would suggest that Simicic is probably going to be favourite from the race based on what we've seen. Of course, sometimes that's not how it unfolds, but he's definitely carrying the momentum into it. The racing around there, though, yes, it's a twisty circuit, but you bring this up about the slipstream. I reckon we can see some very, very good racing around the Silverstone circuit, coming down the Hangar Straight, coming down into Brooklands as well. We're going to see a lot of moves happening, and it's going to be a Grand Prix you do not want to miss.
Definitely don't. So make sure you're back here in 2 weeks' time, the 16th of June. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be here. I'm off in Switzerland for that one, a different event. But I'm pretty sure we can get old Kirky back in action for that one alongside you, Lewis, if you come along for it. But guys, that is it. That's all we've got here tonight. We're going to have to close up the stream. So a big thank you, of course, to all the drivers, to every one of you at home spectating. A big shout, of course, to you, Lewis, for being alongside me in this commentary booth. Felix running the cameras in the background, and Cameron Roger, of course, doing all the directorial stuff and making sure that everyone's driving nice and clean. But from myself, Corey Dyer, it is a very warm goodbye, and we'll see you next time.
Hey man, I got that new 10X Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
You'll let me play?
Yeah, I have to play first. Yeah.
You know, I'll race you for it.
Well, I have to hand you.